So you're live.
Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to our exclusive CIO Leader Masterclass in partnership with VMware and Google Cloud. I'm Sachin Mashilkar, Executive Director, Enterprise Technology 9.9 Group, and your host for the session today. Before we begin, may I request everyone to put their mic on a mute when you're not speaking, and thank you. Welcome once again. If you have any questions or comments during the session, please post that in the chat box, and we will take them up with our experts during the session. Thank you. As you know, the topic for today's session is execute your cloud first strategy with Google Cloud VMware Engine, which is called also GCVE, which I am sure resonates with all of us present here today, where we are cloud natives or interested in being cloud first. While for most companies, the focus is on managing the challenges of incrementally moving the organization to the ideal cloud first future state. Others have begun life as a cloud first organization or have opted for an all or nothing transition mode. Whatever your stage in the cloud migration journey today is, as a cloud first enthusiast, your strategy hinges on considering the cloud before any other possible solution, whether it is for optimizing IT spend or launching new projects. The focus is on understanding your priorities for cloud and ensuring that you keep those priorities in focus as you move forward. All this is easier said than done, while enterprises across the globe are keen to embrace a cloud first strategy. What is missing is a blueprint and a vision of what that cloud first state would be. We recognize that a successful transformation depends on a strategic planning, execution, and a continued management, which brings us to the purpose of this masterclass. Today, we will try to understand the critical steps in the cloud migration journey. Our experts will walk us through on areas like cloud migration strategy. What is it? The types, the process, the planning, and the end result of you should expect from a successful migration. What are the pitfalls in executing this, your migration strategy, and how to avoid them? Why you should consider migrating VMware-based applications to Google Cloud, how you can migrate or extend your VMware platform to Google Cloud VMware Engine to increase agility, lower cost, and reduce possibly migration risk. How Google Cloud VMware Engine is also a VMware Cloud verified solution, delivers a fully managed offering to ensure continuity and a consistent operations from your VMware applications. And the last is, and very important, how you can innovate by leveraging native Google Cloud services and make data-driven business decisions with existing data. We have three eminent speakers from the industry for this engaging discussion today. Our guest and masterclass speaker doesn't need an introduction. Our friend, he works with India's largest paint and decor company, which is also adored as the digital factory by his shareholder on the stock market. I'm sure you would have guessed the company name, simply because the company has done a leap forward move in its transformation from an industrial age to digital age. I'm pleased to invite Mr. Deepak Bhosle, General Manager, Information Technology, Asian Paints, to conduct today's masterclass. Just a small intro for Deepak. Deepak is part of the Asian Paints business leadership team, and his accountability is to create competitive differentiators for the India and international business using the cutting edge digital technologies. Over the last 20 years, his role is akin to a chief digital officer, chief analytical officer, and also sort of chief information security officer. Technology is an integral part of Asian Paints businesses. And Deepak works closely with all business leaders across organizations in evangelizing and the disruptive potential of digital and shaping the strategic directions. Deepak is passionate about engineering digital experiences across customer touchpoints, driving technology solutions from design, supply chain to manufacturing for home decor business. He also manages end-to-end IT needs for the projects businesses in 17 countries across Asian Paints operates in. He was involved in digital projects around machine learning, artificial intelligence, cloud adoption, business analytics, IoT pilots, and AR/VR visualizations for customer experience. Deepak enjoys sharing his learnings and experiences via blogs and speaking conferences through, he believes he is still a student curious to learn more, and which is very humble. Following Mr. Deepak Bhosle, we will have two more interesting sessions from our experts. One by Mr. Rahul Shinde, pre-sales head VMware India, and Mr. Bright Augustus, lead digital transformation group from Quadra Systems. So with that, let me now hand over it to Mr. Deepak Bhosle. Deepak, over to you.
Thank you, Sachin, and thank you for having me on this forum. It's indeed an August forum with, I guess, top IT decision makers. And as IT decision makers, all of you are on the hot seat today because your CXOs are behind you, either with a lot of desperation to really get the digital wagon on, or on the other end, it could be with a lot of confidence to take you into the new age, and somewhere it brings a lot of hope. So we as a community are in demand, and it really gives me immense pleasure to actually have this session with you and probably share a few thoughts of mine and our journey. So is my slide visible?
It is coming up. Yes, it is visible.
Yeah. So I would really like to, in the context in which we are living today, I would really want you to come back to one value which we really need to imbibe, that is in terms of gratitude. Today, I think with all that is happening with the last 18 months which have gone by, one thing which comes to my mind is in terms of gratitude. Gratitude for the fact that we are safe and sound, gratitude for the fact that we are taking care of our loved ones, and gratitude for the fact that we are still able to conduct business, we are still able to interact and get the wheels of the business moving. So I think this is what I really value, and I thought I'll just get started with bringing this value to all of you. There's a new language which has come up in the past 18 months. I'm sure a lot of you would have not heard these words. At least for me, 18 months back, if you would ask me what is asymptomatic, I would have thought it is some word related to biology or probably stock market patterns, but never knew asymptomatic meant what it means in the current context, or comorbidity. So these are new words which have really sprung up in the last 18 months. And on the lighter side, I guess the most used word in the corporate, which was the S before, has now become "Am I audible?" or "Sorry, I was on mute." Things have changed so fast, but in the IT world, I guess these words have always been in focus. Just that it's a little cyclical in IT; it keeps coming back with different names. But this time, we really had some new words in focus: webinar, the one which we are doing. Secure computing, sensor-driven experiences, work from home, work from office close to home. All that kept coming in the last. But one thing which really caught everybody's attention was the fact that one word which could actually revolutionize the whole industry, or they could revolutionize, in a sense, every IT function, and that is cloud first. So what's the fuss about cloud first? We've heard cloud has been there since early 2000, but why is it so much in focus now? What's the fuss about it? The last 18 months have really taught us that they have taught us a new way of working, a new zone of opportunities has suddenly emerged. What we believed was good enough probably is no longer good enough, and hence we all are in some way at a cusp where we need to make choices in terms of either refactoring what has been done, rebuilding what's been done, or repurposing what's done. And in that context, I think cloud first really assumes a lot of significance. As the name suggests, cloud first refers to the practice of prioritizing cloud-based application over others. As I said, it's been there in since 2010, but today it's the CIO's favorite word, because that's where a lot of innovation is happening, and that's where a lot of R&D spends are going, and that's where it's becoming a lot more affordable. And just to caution, cloud first doesn't mean cloud only, because there would be certain workloads which would still continue to be on-prem for a variety of reasons in the current context. Could be for statutory, could be for security, but that also is getting challenged. But cloud first would mean looking at the cloud options first, eliminating the need of not taking them to cloud and then probably taking a call. So it will be very contextual to different industries in that sense of the word. What are the cloud drivers? What is it that suddenly people feel that they need to make this call? I guess a lot of you would be hearing some of these reasons, like some of the data centers shutting down, the lease expiring, or the hardware aging. There's a sudden growth in now with things opening up. You suddenly feel that there's a surge in the demand. The customers want more, your suppliers are ready to sell more, your partners are ready to collaborate more. Hence, there's a sudden spurt in capacity across. Maybe this is an opportunity for a lot of companies where mergers and acquisitions are happening. Hence, you need to get them up to scale in a short period of time. Security has become extremely important in the current context because of the fact that you are suddenly faced with an option of working outside the perimeter of your office, which is to be secure. And obviously, there are a lot of technology trends which are big drivers. Like you have the artificial intelligence, which is certainly making a lot of things easy. Container as a technology or Kubernetes type of technologies have suddenly become very viable. The speeds which are getting to connect to cloud applications have improved significantly. The availability of cloud is really making a big difference. The affordability is making a big difference. The type of reliability and the uptime you're getting on cloud is making a huge difference. And hence, these cloud drivers is making it very difficult for CIOs across the globe to see otherwise. And hence, it becomes a very compelling proposition. But for all the drivers, I feel it is the customer which is dictating the whole movement. It is a customer who is coming back and telling you, hey, I need agility. Hey, I need a certain level of uptime and I need a certain level of innovation happening on a continuous basis. And I think that for me is the biggest driver for people to relook at their existing monoliths and see if cloud is an option for them to drive innovation, to drive agility, and to take their businesses forward. So there are various approaches, and I guess a lot of these approaches have been spoken of. If you Google, you'll get to see a lot of stuff. But the way I would want to put it is it all needs to emanate from the fact that you put your digital strategy in place. A digital strategy is a broader strategy which talks about how is the business going to adopt digital to either improve the customer experiences or to bring in efficiencies on the manufacturing side or the operation side, or using digital to create an altogether new offering which could complement your existing products, which could be traditional brick and mortar products, or it could be completely a new digital service. So that's broadly the way I see in terms of digital strategy for an organization. And that digital strategy will talk about digital getting used as a differentiator to bring in more cost efficiencies, to bring in scalability, to bring in a lot of other things which the business typically aspires, and it aligns with the business goals. And sometimes digital strategy is the business strategy itself. So you need to have that in place. And in that, you would have a cloud strategy amongst all your other strategies. There could be a strategy for security. There could be a strategy for the way you want to drive customer experiences. And hence, there could also be a strategy which is a cloud strategy. A cloud strategy typically talks about what is it that you're going to look at when it comes to the cloud. Under what circumstances are you going to leverage the power of the cloud? Is it going to be only cost? Is it going to be scalability? Is it going to be disaster recovery systems? Or is it going to be agility? Each company decides their own intent, and it's good to start there in terms of having your own intent clear, have that intent aligned across the various stakeholders within the organization on what the cloud strategy means for us. And once that is in place, then I think you can get into the actionable part of it, where it starts off with assessing existing infrastructure, existing apps, existing landscape in which you would have multiple such systems running. within Asian Paints, we have been doing that pretty regularly in terms of taking a stock of where each application lies, and we sometimes call it the karma score, because each application delivers a certain value and it has a certain life, and then we need to take a call on whether you need to reinvigorate it, or you need to retire it, or you need to recast it. So you need to have an assessment of which application is in what phase of its life cycle, and once you take a stock of all of these, then you can start looking at what is the desired state for all these applications. When you know the desired state, then you can say, okay, these are the things I need to move towards, and hence you need to have a certain business architecture and a technical architecture which you need to arrive at. And then once you got this in place, then you'll start prioritizing on what of these apps you move ahead. And there you can always look at a matrix wherein you can see what is the impact versus the efforts to move or refactor this application. Then basis that, if it's a high impact zone with very less efforts, it becomes a low hanging fruits. If it is a very high impact but needs a lot of efforts, you start planning for those. You start harvesting those areas. And once you're clear about what you're going to do with these applications, you typically have largely four options. The fifth option where you can say, I will not do anything, I'll just retire that application. One is right at the bottom, it would be just taking that app if you decided that you won't need to go to the cloud. One option would be just take lift and shift, which is just moving the servers from your center to the premises of a well-managed data center. And this, I guess, a lot of people would have done pretty early in their life cycle. Before COVID, also a lot of companies would have done it. We would have done it probably 12 to 15 years back, that we lifted and shifted all our servers onto a co-located space. And then there are people who want to lift, shift and optimize it. They go and start using some native features of the cloud. There will be the way it's stored, the API economy available on the cloud. How you use all of that and try to bring in a certain improvements into when you move on to the cloud. This allows you also to justify the spends which you're, or you can always convince your management that you are bringing a differential by optimizing this. The third area which generally emerges as an opportunity is in terms of how do you can you look at cloud native systems which could replace the existing on-prem monolithic systems. And there are a lot of opportunities today because there are a lot of niche applications which are coming, which are largely cloud-based. And they offer you a certain level of differentiation. They offer you a certain level of competitive advantage. We should be looking at instead of recasting or rebuilding, we should. And if you want faster time to market, I think these are good options to look at. And then the fourth one, which really excites me, is in terms of how do you rebuild the whole application in the context of the new areas which are getting in. Like, for example, if Asian Paints, as you know, all Asian Paints has been traditionally a paint and coatings company for nearly so many years now. Last decade or so, we have started getting into areas which are related to home decor, which means that you as customers, if you would want to get your entire house done right from not just the walls but also the spaces, and you want great designs for your bathroom, bedroom, kitchen, hall, we are able to provide those designs using real high technology or high tech 3D visualization environments. We can give you designs which really capture the intent which you have in terms of a beautiful home. So once the designs are in place, we are able to then get in all the execution partners. The kitchen guy will come, the bathroom guy, the storage guy, the tiles guy, all of them we syndicate it through a project management system and deliver a beautiful home. And for this, we have already acquired a kitchen brand, we have acquired a bathroom fitting brand, and we have various types. Now, this is a new business, and this is so technology driven. Now, not really always look at a very traditional ERP, CRM type of solution. Probably would want to recast this as a modular sub-containers where every functionality I can keep bouncing it across multiple clouds, depending upon the need and the capability of the cloud. So this gives me an opportunity to build an entire business which is cloud native, and that's where you can generate a lot of value. And you would have seen a lot of startups, they create so much of value. Within 4 years, they become unicorns, right? You've seen the IPOs, they're just an IPO like Zomato, which is purely a traditional, purely a tech-driven company, has been able to get market valuations as good as Mahindra and the others in that space in a matter of just a few years. So that's the power of what technology can bring to a business proposition. And clearly, the ones those are all transformational, as I've indicated here. And I guess as CIOs, as leaders in our businesses, how it's always good. It always puts us ahead of the rest. If you start scouting for such opportunities, you start presenting such value propositions to your CEO, get his buy-in, try something new, and the whole cloud allows you to do that. It allows you to fail fast. And I think as professionals, we are really placed in a sweet spot of understanding how digital is moving and also understanding how the business is moving. If you just connect the dots, I think we can create value multipliers for an organization. So what's Asian Paint's journey been like? As I said, we had pretty early in our game, we really moved our servers. We used to host all our servers within our own data centers, which we used to manage, but then we thought it makes no sense in terms of really spending so much of effort, which could, and hence we moved to a data center outside our premises. We enabled disaster recovery, and then we started moving on to cloud-based applications, which were specific to a certain meeting a certain need. And we invested in SAP's success factors for managing the entire employee life cycle of the employee, right from the hire to exit, and all that is happening on the cloud. And in the pandemic, it threw up opportunities, and that really accelerated while we were doing virtual desktops in a small way. When the pandemic came, we actually really scaled it in a very short time. And as I speak, we are into zones of app modernization. We are relooking at certain apps. We have already taken some 18 apps where we are recasting them. We are trying to convert them into containers, testing whether they are able to scale, and then looking if they can get deployed. So that's typically how we are looking at it. And I think we are on track in terms of leveraging a lot of the capabilities which the existing technologies are throwing up. So some of these success stories, which I could quickly cover because of I'll rush through some of them because I'm really done with my time. We have something called a digital twin of the plant. Our Asian Paints, as you know, would have some of the most automated paint plants in the world today, which means that with automation, there's a lot of IoT data, there's a lot of sensor related data, the DCS data from the SAP system. So we wanted to get all of that data at one place and then create a complete twin of the physical plant. But it was impossible for us to really manage such huge volumes of data, and hence we chose cloud as an option, and we said we should first look at the cloud, and that's where we decided to take all of this data streams to the cloud, use the power of AI to harmonize this and create a complete virtual factory of your physical factories. So what it does today is it allows us to go and simulate a problem in the virtual twin or the digital twin, which means that tomorrow, if I would want to test an hypothesis that the grinding time and the viscosity are correlated, and to what extent I can actually start doing purely with in the digital twin on the data which is available, and then test that hypothesis in the physical and get going. So this allows me to really take decision making to the next level. So that's one area which cloud really helped us. The second was in terms of customer data platform. There was a need from business in terms of having providing customers with insights which will allow them to take better decisions. So as you see, the customer, typically a customer of paint or the person who is in the home decor business or home decor cycle, you typically go to the website, do a few things. He would then visit our stores, do a few things, and he would meet some of our sales reps, do a few things, and then he would either paint his house or decorate his entire home. And then so in this entire journey, there are various touch points. WhatsApp, you have contact center, you have people visiting them, you have mobile apps, execution partners, dealers, contractors, interior designers, carpenters. How do you get all of this at one place as interactions and develop intelligence which will allow us to actually start suggesting the next best action for our customers? What is the next thing he should be doing? How do you influence him towards making the right choices? If all that is to be done, then you have to take all of this information at one place and run a complex AI algorithms on that. And for that, we really needed a lot of horsepower. So we again banked onto a cloud-based solution, taking all of these data. We would have data sources coming from more than 75 to 80 points. All of that taking to the cloud, getting it all harmonized, deduplication, and creating value in terms of throwing back recommendations to at all the customer touch points. Similarly, there's a beautiful home story which I was just talking about in terms of our foray into home decor, which is an entire new business, which we are trying to make it as cloud native as possible. So these are quick examples of what we've done on the cloud and learnings. I think, as I said, we need to have a cloud strategy in place and seek the alignment of the concerned stakeholders. When you're doing this cloud strategy, I have the principles of cost, architecture, security, and agility very clearly defined. Conduct POCs and test the waters. I think external help will be really good here. I think we've tried with quite a few people. We've got help from folks like Google. VMware has been our partners for pretty long. They have been in a journey for nearly a decade and a half. So it's always good to engage with them because they are experts. They've been doing it for other customers, and it really helps us to learn from their own experiences. Acquiring skills is crucial because this is an altogether new area. If you want to get into areas like dev, sec, ops, the entire area is emerging, and your existing IT team might not have the skills. And it's also important that existing internal IT team, we bring in the change. We start tuning them in terms of what they could expect in terms of changes in practices, how to move stuff on the cloud, on-prem to cloud, and all of that. And then finally, the measurement matrices. I think you need to run the governance pretty strongly. So this is what I had to share with you all in terms of what we have been doing, what my overall view on this space is. I hope it has been useful for you guys. You can connect with me on LinkedIn to continue these conversations, and probably I'll take some of your doubts there.
Thank you, Deepak. Your theory is just awesome, and Asian Paint's digital transformation journey is truly inspiring. I'm sure to many IT leaders listening to us today, and I'm sure they will find your tips very useful. So with that, many thanks to you for this interesting masterclass. Now, should our listeners have any questions for Deepak, please feel free to post them in the chat window. We'll take them up during a Q&A session. With that, now I would like to invite our next speaker for today, Mr. Rahul Shinde. He's a pre-sales head with VMware India. He has 17 plus years of IT infrastructure modernization and hybrid multi-cloud solution experience. He has helped enterprise customers in their cloud journey by partnering with cloud service providers and large system integrators. Currently, Rahul is driving VMware cloud provider business across India as a manager and a solution architect. He prior worked with HP and IBM, where he has designed complex IT infra solutions for various technologies like infrastructure virtualization, cloud, ERP, analytics, and mobility. He has also worked closely with various ISVs and SIs for designing deep technical solutions for various complex and large opportunities. With that, let me invite Rahul. Over to you, Rahul.
Hey, thanks, Sachin, for such an elaborative introduction. Good afternoon to everyone. Let me start sharing my presentation with you. Sachin, the slides are visible, right?
It's visible, yes. Please go.
Okay. So what I'm going to do today is echo upon what so far has been discussed by Deepak in terms of what the overall cloud journey would look like for a customer. To begin with, we all know that the desired outcome, what the CXOs or CIOs or the organizations, enterprise are looking out to transform their overall infrastructure into a cloud platform, so as to get the applications modernized, so as to be digitally native and enhance the overall infrastructure part alongside achieving the cost savings, and to be a developer friendly so that they can go on enhancing their overall platform and application portion. When we say this is what the desired outcome what we want. There are challenges which actually pops up whenever we want to modernize the overall application or do the transformation to the cloud, so on and so forth. And those are like we have a security risk, which is we are running already applications which are hardened in terms of security on premise. When we want to transition them to a cloud, we need to ensure that the same security structure or even better enhanced security structure is available. There is a lot of cost involved into refactoring the application. The consistency of the infrastructure would be different. What you're running today on premise versus what it is available in the cloud is going to be different. You need to invest into the skill sets what you have so far invested as an organization into ensuring that your people are skilled and equipped to maintain and keep the lights on and do the overall enhancement in the infrastructure. Those skill sets need to be upgraded so that wherever you want to go in terms of a cloud endpoint, you have those skill sets available with your operations team. There could be an increase in the cost if you don't do it in the right way, best possible optimized way. The cost can go up. You need a specialized tools in terms of managing all those environments. Now, these challenges are typically echoed by every organization whenever we have an interaction with that. We want someone, we want to help. VMware being one of the leading data center component or data center infrastructure provider, they want VMware to help them, advise them how they can overcome these challenges. And obviously, the cloud first strategy is now a reality. After pandemic, it has become like they want to really see how they can overall optimize and innovate in terms of application and be close to their customer. The agility, the innovation part, or the application availability part, they want to enhance. Now, with this, let me talk to you about the overall VMware multi-cloud strategy, what we have. After understanding these challenges what customers are facing in terms of realizing their cloud business or realizing their overall cloud journey or a dream, what we have invested into and what so far we are thriving to do or putting in a lot of research and development spends onto to give you a consistent infrastructure runtime, which would be a virtualized compute, network, and storage. By leveraging this infrastructure, you could able to run both your legacy virtual machine workloads alongside the modern containers or Kubernetes or microservices-based architecture, so that you get an unified infrastructure to run both the environment. You don't need to create separate silos or islands of infrastructure to run the modern application architecture and the legacy architecture. You should be able to run it from the single infrastructure stack, which will give you unified operations across the multiple cloud environment. It could be your on-premise environment, it could be any cloud endpoint, right? It could be Google or it could be other hyperscalers. So that using this unified operations, you get a visibility, you get an operational excellence, you can automate the entire workflow of deployment management. You can control the security of each application, each workload you deployed, whether it is on-premise or on the cloud. You could able to put up a governance, which is being, I would say, put up across as per your industry standards or the regulatory authorities or so on and so forth. Alongside, you could able to manage the overall container life cycle or ecosystem or journey. So this platform will give you a end-to-end control, a choice, and a flexibility to choose what you exactly want to leverage, and helps you to get more out of the entire infrastructure. And irrespective of what endpoint you run at, which cloud endpoint you run at. And alongside, there would be unified networking. So why unified networking is important? Because the hybrid cloud is a reality. You cannot just lift and shift and do migrate to a cloud overnight. It's a process. It's a journey, right? And the biggest pain point in this journey is security and the network. You really need to extend the network so that you can push those security policies, compliance policies across the cloud endpoints, across the layer. And we have solutions, we have stack in place, which will help you to unify the network across the various cloud endpoints. And on top of that, the overall developer experience, that matters, right? we all want to modernize the application so that they are aligned with the business outcome, customer outcome, which is desired for everyone. And that requires a development system or development process in-house or whether it is outsourced. And we all want a developer to focus on the development rather than worrying about the infrastructure part. So we have created an homogeneous system, which is VMware Cloud Foundation. That's a baseline which has got a compute, network, and storage virtualized. All together, you can consume it as and when required, and it represents everything in a software-defined way. So you can create on-demand rules of the firewall, related to micro-segmentation, creating virtual networks, segmentation, your load balancing. All of that is available in a software-defined way, so that you don't have a dependency on the physical infrastructure to consume those various network or the compute or the storage functions. We have an application-centric storage which helps to define the specific storage requirement which are aligned to the application. It could be a quality of service, it could be IOPS, it could be capacity, anything what you need. Now with this consistent stack, what we offer to the end customer is a choice where you want to run, a control on the entire infrastructure, and a speed by which he can adopt this stack. Now this stack, which is VMware Cloud Foundation, the VMware Software Defined Data Center stack, is available for all of our customers across multiple cloud endpoints, right? And Google is one of the key cloud, you can say, endpoint what we have. I'm going to talk about it. Now, with this cloud foundation, what customer gets is the entire control only the 4R of the transformation journey what we have. They can retain their existing applications whenever they want to adapt to cloud. They don't need to do a lot of refactoring or replatforming of the application. They can retain their existing architecture. They can just migrate from on-premise to a cloud seamlessly. We have tools in place. We extend the network so that the overall migration journey for the cloud, for the customer, for the enterprise, would be smooth without any having an hiccups. You can do it in minutes. You don't alongside, if you want to re-platform, you want to, let's say, optimize your overall infrastructure. It could be as simple as consolidating your overall firewalls or your load balancer. Instead of leveraging the physical load balancer which you have on premise, you can go to a cloud, re-platform or re-architecture the overall load balancing, and do it in more optimal way, which will reduce your overall cost. Or it could be as I will leverage the containers or the Kubernetes to build a new application or transform this existing application to a container-based architecture. So all of this would be available from the same consistent stack, and all of this will be available for the customer in an OpEx model. So it is going to be on-demand capacity. You can do a reserve instance or a on-demand, and being a consistent stack across these multiple cloud endpoints. You don't need to again invest into reskilling of your own people. You can leverage the same common tool sets what so far you have been using on premise, as you're getting the same consistent infrastructure available into the various cloud endpoints. You don't need to really worry about how I'm going to manage it, because the same tool sets, same skill sets are available, and you can leverage them to operate the multiple cloud endpoints. And this gives you a control to your infrastructure team, gives you same operational experience. And for the developers, they can leverage the Tanzu runtime of VMware, which is the our signatures in terms of the Kubernetes and containers. You can really leverage it and modernize your application alongside running your legacy applications on the same stack, same infrastructure. Now, if I have to double click onto the 3 key deliverables or value propositions, what we have with the overall multi-cloud strategy is a choice. So as a customer enterprise, you can choose from various hyperscaler options. We have an ecosystem of 4,000 plus cloud sites across the globe. You can leverage them, which is spread across 128 countries. It is available in terms form factor or a consumption model of either a private, hybrid, or a public cloud. And you can run either virtual machines as is what you're running, or you can run containers on top of it. So for every application type, whether it is monolithic, legacy, And we all know that VMware is the only platform which supports the largest spread of or largest breadth and spread of the legacy applications and legacy operating system support. And with this, your overall cloud journey would be smoother, and you get a choice where you want to run. The speed, as I said, that this gives you a extension of your network from on-premise to cloud. And this extension is, by the way, a layer 2 extension. So you don't need to refactor when you migrate, you don't need to re-architecture when you migrate, and you even don't need to re-IP your platform. It is the same network segment available across the cloud. Just we have an inbuilt tool. Just go into the GUI, just open up the portal, select an application along with its dependencies, and migrate it. And obviously, alongside with Kubernetes engine, what we have built in Tanzu, your developers will get on their fingertip all the tools available which they can leverage to really convert this monolithic application to a microservices container-based application with a 5x more productivity and 46% more better migration speed. And on top of that, as I said, that control is also more important. You want to control that overall environment so that you are ensured that whenever you want to adopt any change, it is in your control. You can do it on your own rather than having a dependency on somebody else via the either a managed service provider or a partner. So as you could able to migrate faster, so you can realize your overall cloud journey much more sooner. It helps you to overall reduction in the cost, as your migration cost will be drastically less. As you gain the entire control in the infrastructure, you decide what kind of an oversubscription, what kind of a consumption, what kind of an infrastructure you really want to give to each application. So you don't need to go with the t-shirt size which are predefined by the hyperscalers. You can choose what t-shirt size you want, or it could be any vCPU, any memory combination you can do. So that would really give you a choice and control in terms of what you want to deploy. And with the overall control on the networking part, the security part, micro-segmentation, you gain all those efficiencies with the faster migration time. Now, let me talk about what this GCV is all about, right? Just so far I've talked about the overall multi-cloud strategy, what we have. In summary, the multi-cloud strategy is to give you choice, freedom, and control to decide at what cloud endpoint you want to run your application. And VMware is available across all these cloud endpoints. You can choose wherever you want to run it. Now, what is GCVE? GCVE is a VMware software-defined data center stack running on Google Cloud Platform bare metal, and it is tightly integrated with Google services. It could be AI/ML services, or it could be backup, or it could be anything. And you can consume it as a service on demand, either a 1-year RI or a 3-year RI. So you have a flexibility to choose how you want to consume it. And as I said, all these Google services are tightly integrated. So you can really leverage those services to enhance your overall application posture. Now let's talk about the use cases for which you can really leverage the GCV. The first one foremost is data center extension. You want to buy an additional capacity for test and development. You want to have a data gravity. You have an existing workload in Google. You want your monolithic or legacy application to be also sitting alongside that, so that you get a proximity to that environment. So that can be done using the data center extension on-demand capacity. You can expand your data centers geographically across multiple locations without actually not investing into it. The second use case is a disaster recovery. If you have a DR refresh, you're planning to optimize your overall DR strategy, we can look at GCV being an VMware consistent platform. You can leverage the SRM tools or other tools to replicate the data at a more granular level. With a layer 2 extension, you have a far better RTO available. RPO is anyway the tool, and these platform software will take care of that RPO. But the most important thing in a DR is not only RPO. How soon you can recover back your business or an application, respond back with that application is also most important. With the network extension, you can bring up your overall applications much more faster, right? So your RTO significantly reduces. You can look at, if you have a strategy of data center evacuation, you can just migrate. As I said, we have tools inbuilt, which is HCX. which helps you to do an optimized migration. It stretches the network from on-premise to the cloud endpoint GCVE over a layer 2 domain. It has, you can do a live migration, you can do a bulk migration, or you can do a warm migration. So all the options, you need to choose how you want to migrate from on-premise to the cloud. You can leverage the same environment by a Tanzu container runtime to modernize your applications. So land your application from on-premise to a cloud, then modernize it by leveraging the Google services of AI/ML or BigQuery and so on and so forth. Also, the same environment can be used for the virtual desktop. We all know that after the work from home culture being now part of the core overall, can say, requirement, or rather it has been forced to adopt. The VDI is one of the requirement which has emerged for all the enterprise. So you can deploy the Horizon Cloud on top of GCVE so that you can deliver on-demand desktop to various people from your organization securely using the Horizon 8 VDI option. Now, what is a real differentiator for you? It will really simplify your infrastructure. You can run the workload seamlessly. You don't need to worry that if the infrastructure is, as the infrastructure is consistent, if the same application is running on-premise, it will be running in GCV as it is. With the same platform available for you. You can leverage your existing tools, so you get a more control on the application. You know it is already fine-tuned on-premise onto an VMware stack. So it is, you don't need to spend anything in terms of efforts or in terms of optimization efforts when it lands into a GCV. You have an option, it is running as a service, you get a choice how you want to consume. So you can consume it as either an on-demand or an RI. So you get a flexibility to save your cost. So whenever there is a peak demand for a certain application, you can just scale whenever you want. It gives you a direct access to Google services, the Google BigQuery AI/ML services. So you can really enhance your overall application by leveraging those tools. And on top of that, by leveraging the overall software-defined network stack, what we have, which is NSX and the GCP data encryption, you can.
Thank you, Rahul. It was really insightful. With that, now let me invite our next speaker, Mr. Bright Augustus. He is the lead digital transformation group, Quadra Systems Private Limited. Over 15 years, Bright has also trained numerous CXOs, senior and junior managers, resulting in a smarter business professionals and decision makers. He has organized customer-facing technology events and also been a keynote speaker in trending technologies at a customer-facing events, showcasing cutting-edge technology solutions to enterprises on behalf of all the major technology vendors in the country. And he has been providing consultation on transforming traditional businesses enterprises to a customer-centric digital business enterprise. So with that, over to you, Bright.
Thank you, Sachin. Thank you for that introduction. Hi, everyone. Good evening to all of you. It's my pleasure to present my company and how, as a Google partner, we will be able to help you provide cloud migration services and support services when you choose to move to the cloud. So I'm going to share my presentation with you. I don't want to take much of your time because we have less time than what we have scheduled. So give me a moment. I'm going to share my screen with you. Here's my presentation, and amplify your Google Cloud investments with Quadra. That is what I want to tell you about this evening. Many of you have already tried the cloud. Waters, right when you're going to decide for the cloud. Now it's not if, because every enterprise has to transform themselves digitally today in order that they can survive. So
sorry to interrupt you. Your slide is not visible. It's coming a white blank slide.
Give me a moment. Is this available to you now?
somehow I can't see it. Aditi, Shankar, are you able to see it? Because for me, it's appearing white.
No.
Not able to see?
No.
Sir, perhaps you can reshare your screen. That would help.
Okay, a moment, please. A moment, please. Now, does that show you my screen?
Yes, now it is visible.
Thank you, Sachin. I'm sorry for the small technical snag. Right. Every one of you, every customer, every business enterprise, IT IT team should have already decided to move to the cloud. So it is not a question of if, it's a question of when you're going to do this and how you're going to do this. But there are thousands of challenges that people have faced. There are tens of questions that are in your mind as to how you will be able to leverage the power of the cloud. That is why you need a real good cloud service provider and a real good cloud service provider plus partner who can help you do this. A partner to the cloud service provider. So this is what I'm going to showcase to you. Google Cloud is the cloud for you when you already have decided to move to the cloud. And Quadra is Google's partner who can help you to move to the cloud in a very, very systematic way. You can amplify your investments on the cloud when you choose to move to the Google Cloud, and when you choose to move to the Google Cloud through Quadra as your technology partner. Because you come first always. We want to put customer first before we move ahead in the planning. So we want to study what your requirement is. We want to understand where you want to go and then try to create a plan for you, create a roadmap for you so that we will be able to stay with you throughout the journey. Now, digital transformation is not a destiny in itself. Nobody finishes the journey. It's always continuing. And if there is a partner for you who can handhold and take you through the journey and share with you all their experiences in such a way that you don't get stuck somewhere, you are not taken by surprise, then you need a real good partner. And that is why Quadra is your go-to partner when you're talking about the cloud technology. And Google is the platform which you might want to choose as your Google's your cloud service provider. We are trusted partners for more than 3,000 customers, and we have been awarded on the global stage for 17 years. The past 17 years, we have 75 plus recognitions globally and nationally. We have posted a lot of case studies on the open source for you people to come and consume. Come to Quadra site and you will be able to see a lot of case studies of solutions that we have been providing. In fact, we were one of the first to come into the cloud when we were invited by cloud service providers to take their solution to the customers. We became partners to them to talk for them. In fact, we are now Google partners who can provide you this kind of a service of moving from your traditional on-premises setup to the technology-enabled modern cloud, because we have enough experience. We are 21 years old now, and we have got 750 plus certifications and skilled people in our teams who can help you in right from consultation to implementation to modernization to to help you train and benefit from the cloud that you are going to choose. We want to become the bridge between the technology that is on this side, on the cloud, to your businesses, which is on this side, which needs these cloud solutions. So we are happy to help. Please come connect with us. Owning and operating infrastructure is not a great differentiator, because today there is no clear line of marking between your owning or your on-premises data center and the cloud, because your cloud that you're seeking for can give you enough freedom to work on it like how you would handle your applications and your data in an on-premises setup. The delaying time to realize the cloud value is a big challenge for a lot of people. But when you choose the right kind of cloud solutions, the cloud service provider and the cloud partner, then the time consumed can be drastically reduced from your on-premises setup and moving to the cloud and making use of the cloud in a very, very wonderful way. The complexities involved, the cost involved, the risk of migration are all threats today for many business enterprises. Not anymore. When you choose the right kind of partners, certainly this is going to be an interesting and a very fruitful journey for all of you people. At Quadra, we have what is called as the Digicelerate solution, accelerating your digital transformation. So we provide digital transformation as a service. So it is an elusive goal for a number of people, but we know that the approaches that people have taken have not really given enough returns, or they have not yielded results because of wrong strategy, less and very little planning, and no really skilled people to handhold them. But here we are, Quadra, we can offer you unique combination of all our ongoing services. We also have custom IP solutions which can probably help you address many business challenges. We can help you to move away from discrete technology deployments to a seamless transition. So approach us and you will be able to make the most of the cloud that is available. The value of the Google Cloud VMware engine solution is what I'm going to show you now in this place. Google has got VMware as a service, and it's very, very easy for you who are already using VMware. If you have used VMware to build a private cloud, or you're just using VMware to create virtual machines, you're using some ESX hardware in order to build virtual machines and run applications there. If you already are some kind of a traditional user of VMware, and if you are looking at Google as the cloud to go, then moving from your local data center, on-premises data center, to the Google Cloud is in a whizzy. It's very, very easy. It's just lift and shift, which our people have been talking to you about in the past few minutes. It's just lift and shift. All you need to do is move your VMware-based solutions, applications, storage, whatever, all of that to the cloud very, very easily. And that's why we have this VMware engine. So the VMware as a service that Google provides is the solution for all of you people who are looking at moving your VMs, which are running very, very strategic, very, very important applications there in your on-premises setup, but then you're trying to leverage the power of the cloud because of its compute power, because of its huge storage space, because of all the other added advantages that you can reap when you move to the cloud, like, for example, automatic DR available, high availability available. The security system that is built in the cloud is much greater than the one that you can build in your local on-premises setup. The compliances, that certifications that the Google service provider the Google Cloud has now got is unmatched. So it takes care of a lot of compliance requirements for you. And so you can very confidently move your on-premises VMs to the cloud in a jiffy. So all you need again is, if this is so very easy, why would you need a partner? The reason is the partner stays with you in planning, right from consultation to drawing a roadmap for you, helping you in planning the kind of workloads that need to move first, and then ordering those workloads in such a way that things move very, very smooth and fast, and also help you to identify how you can leverage the cost benefits that are available on the cloud. So this is what you need to do when you're talking about moving from an on-premises setup to the cloud. Talk about the challenges that we have been facing all these 18 months or even before. The remote workforce that has to sit at home and stay connected all together. Now, on-ramp to the cloud from the Google Cloud platform helps people to immediately deploy VDI solutions in such a way that your people remain connected with other people in the company, other people outside the company like your suppliers and customers, and also access information that is very, very critical for expanding your business and help your business to remain competent always as a leader. Again, talk about the massive pressure of reducing costs. Your on-premises is the data center there is putting in a lot of cost things there, so that you are spending and spending and spending. You are not able to save much. But when you're talking about moving things to the cloud, you're going to move from a CapEx model to an OpEx model, and the total cost of ownership on the cloud is approximately at least 25% cost reduction. A couple of events back, a customer came back and told us they started moving into the cloud, but then after moving to the cloud and then analyzing the cost, they saw that the TCO had increased. It was a shock to me. But then when we started probing a little more, we found that they tried to move to the cloud without any kind of a support from a partner. But then we were able to zero in as to why that TCO increased. The reason being, they didn't have an experienced person or a company, a partner to handhold them in moving to the cloud. If you are talking about this kind of a migration and a movement to the cloud, always you need to have a very, very trusted technology partner. Talk about business continuity, that again is a challenge. But then the VM workloads in the cloud are always running, and so your business always is continuing. Again, talk about disaster recovery and all of those, which are automatically built on the cloud for you automatically. So you will have ease of migration, and then the cost is lowered, and then the running of your applications is very, very secure because of the security systems that are built around the cloud offerings. And then talking about agility, scaling up, scaling down, scaling out, scaling in, and the speed with which all of these can be done is unmatchable when you talk about the comparison between the cloud offering and the one that you are running on premises. Think about this. The cost that you're going to save, the money that you're going to save can now be spent on these innovative technologies that Google provides you. Cloud SQL, TensorFlow, cloud operations, Kubernetes engines, BigQuery, AI, machine learning, whatnot. You have got a lot more things that you might want to explore in such a way that you will be able to leverage the benefits of the cloud. Again, look at an example of 1,000 VMs, 120 hosts, 500 cores. Here is a TCO calculator, on-premises versus cloud. at least 20% savings. This is what you will see when you're talking about moving to the cloud. Talk about the soft benefits. Risk of the risk of retaining a data center is mitigated when you move to the cloud. Talk about employee productivity. It drastically improves. Financial management. Your CFO will be very, very happy because he is going to see this expense reflecting on the P&L account rather than seeing that in a balance sheet as a capex expenditure. So your CFO will readily agree to your budget if you're taking it for moving to the cloud. The business performance is going to continue, and the agility is going to increase, and you will start reaping the benefits of the cloud right from the first month itself. So this we have been talking about the lower cost. The cost that you save can now be used for making use of the cloud benefits that are available, the advanced technologies that are available. So VMware solves many use cases which and you saw in the last presentation. I don't want to spend much time here. Performance intensive workloads can run wonderfully well on the Google Cloud today. Now, the virtual desktop infrastructure can run on the cloud for you. You can send many virtual desktops to your staff right now when you're looking at that cloud as the place for your virtual desktop infrastructure. Application modernization, which our friend was talking about in the beginning, he told you about how Asian Paints has been able to move to this level by using the cloud. Quadra is your GCP partner. Now, talking about this, we can accelerate your transformation to the cloud. So we are certified, we are Google Advantage partners, and we will be able to help you to make your business smarter, transform, and stay adaptable. You can better connect with people, protect your businesses, and grow with confidence. These are some of the things that we bring to your table. And we can amplify your cloud investments. That's what I started with. Your success on the Google Cloud platform is our job. Trust us, come to us, and we will be able to help you. These are some of the things that you might want to leverage. You can access some GCP credit also. When you come to us, we will try to bring this value to you. What do you want to do next? If you want to know more about what things can be done, share your cloud consumption report for the past 3 months. We will be able to schedule a cloud assessment discussion. We will migrate your workloads in zero downtime, and we can help you remain peaceful. You'll get a peace of mind with the SLAs and escalation matrix that we can share with you. Please call us, connect with us, murli.j@quadrasystems.net, Mr. J. Muralidharan, and this is Murli's number, 7338858105. Thank you for listening to me. That brings me to the end of this presentation.
Thank you, Bright. It was really informative, and I'm sure I think our audience will find it useful, and should they connect with you, I think the coordinates you've shared with them. With that, thank you very much. I think we have, a few questions, but I think given the time, maybe I think I would like to choose to pick the two very important ones. Maybe I think, Rahul and Bright, you would want to answer it. So the first question we've got is that from a Suman Ghosh, how does VMware in collaboration with Google Cloud can help shaping digital transformation? I think both of you have covered in your speech, but I think I would like to let Suman still get a broad summary. Rahul, if you would want to encapsulate that in a half a minute.
Yeah, definitely. So basically, you can leverage all the Google services, like a BigQuery or you run the monolithic application, migrate it to the GCVE, then modernize it using the VMware Tanzu runtime, using the Kubernetes and containers, and then while doing this modernization, you can leverage all those Google services so as to enhance your overall application platform, and then that would really help you to digitize your application and make it more efficient, or make it more, you can say, enhance the overall application platform.
Thanks. With that, let me take you through the second question, which is cloud is a shared responsibility model. How to ensure that cloud service provider, especially SaaS service provider, will protect your data and will ensure regulatory and legal compliance? Can you share your views and experience on this? Question by Nilesh Gade. Yeah.
Yeah. So first and foremost is GCVE is not a it's not a pooled resource. What you get is your dedicated environment. You get your dedicated infrastructure, and it is a cage infrastructure. So it is, you are not going to share either the data or the resources with any other organization or any other workload. It's purely your own cloud. You own the entire service, and you can consume it as and when required. And as it is the same environment you're running, what you're running into on-premise with VMware, for you, whatever security policies, compliance policies you have hardened onto your on-premise data center, same can be just pushed to the GCV in the same environment. So it is not going to be shared. It is your dedicated environment, and you have full control and a better security in that overall environment.
I hope that answers Nilesh's question, and I think some of the other questions we have will route it to the team, Google Cloud and VMware and Quadra. With that, thank you very much, Deepak, Rahul, and Bright. The session has been exhaustive, and though a cloud-first strategy feels like a big jump from traditional setups, given the benefits and the cornucopia of business reasons, choosing a cloud-first strategy that suits the organization is imperative in today's dynamic economic environment. I'm sure the takeaways from today's session will benefit our participants when putting together their own cloud strategy. With that, I thank each and everyone for joining us today, and hope the session has been worthwhile. My special thanks to Team Google Cloud, Venugopal, Team VMware, Jayanto, Team Quadra Systems, Senthil Kumar, and Team 9.9, Neelam, Vivek, Shankar, Sangeeta, Aditi, Vandana, and Mahantesh. Thank you once again, and goodbye.
Thanks, everyone.